Hello, welcome back to All For United with your host, Osman Akhtar. Manchester United have secured top four yesterday. It wasn't pretty, but we got over the line. As always, make sure you are dropping a like and you subscribe to the channel if you are new. I'm sure all the United fans are in good spirits, just like myself and the boys. As always in this show, it's called Breakdown and Banter for a reason. We're going to be breaking down the game, going through over the game, but most importantly, we're just going to sit here with a smile on our face, knowing that we can finally say we're back in the Champions League. I'm joined here by Koji and Rodri. How you doing, boys?
Yeah, all good, man. All good. It's been a long day, but I'm good. Rodri?
Rodri, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. After yesterday, it's I can breathe now and relax.
Yes, that's what we like to hear. We've got a comment from Thompson, Evening all. Yes, Tom, good to have you. As always, if you are joining us on Twitter, make your way over to YouTube, like I've already said. Drop a like and subscribe. Obviously, the channel is growing quickly and we're trying to get to 500 subscribers. Anyways, that aside, let's get into the show. Like I said, it wasn't pretty, but who cares? We got over the line. Koja, what were your thoughts on yesterday's performance? Should we start with the way we set up? So we started with the 4-2-3-1. You know, we spoke a lot in the last game regarding the 4-2-3-1, in particular Pogba's position, but it seemed like he persevered with a similar system. How did you feel going into that?
Yeah, I was quite comfortable with the selection. It's a selection that I expected anyway, to be honest, apart from obviously Luke Shaw's not fit, so Brandon Williams came in. Yeah, it made sense. The team made sense. The lineup made sense, especially with Matic and Pogba holding. Thinking about it, I think it was better to have Pogba as sort of like a dictator of the play, and obviously Bruno. I think he's knackered, so to have him have less responsibility in terms of chasing around in the midfield was quite important. So I think it was tactically well done. I think the tactics made sense. I think the style of play made sense, and yeah, it was quite easy to deal with Leicester with the tactics that he started with.
Yeah, coach has obviously said that in terms of the tactics, Ali got it right. In terms of his approach, anyways. What were your thoughts on that, Rodri?
Yeah, well, you can see that they're obviously the same team, but yeah, he just didn't want to give anything away. Say nice and tight and compact, and probably try and win, so they didn't over exert themselves. So yeah, it was a good game plan with a clean sheet and 3 points. So it was a nerve wracking until they scored, but yeah, once they scored, it was an easy win in the end.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's definitely nerve-wracking. I was sweating. I wasn't even playing, and I'm sweating. So God knows how the players are feeling. But I've got to talk about one player to start off. A bit of positivity. You know, a lot of people have been criticising the defence, but there was one man who definitely wasn't nervous. The iced man, Kojo. Talk to me about Lindelof's performance yesterday. Unbelievable.
I can honestly wax lyrical about this guy. Yesterday, the performance against Leicester was colossal, in my opinion. One-on-ones, whether it was with Vardy, whether it was having to deal with danger when he wasn't near the opponent and getting there in time, timing of challenges. Even in the year, which I've criticised him for a lot this season, I think he was very strong and good in the year when winning challenges. On the ball, very comfortable, very relaxed. It was just, dare I say, a complete performance. You know, that's what you want from your centre back at the end of the day, especially in a pressure situation like that. Because Leicester, it wasn't a team they're a good team, but it wasn't just a team that was just trying to play for nothing. They wanted Champions League football as well. Obviously, the consolation prize being Europa, but Champions League over Europa every time, and he stepped up to the occasion. And especially when you're in a 1-on-1 with Vardy, top goal scorer in the league.
Yeah.
Been in form pretty much most of the season, I'll say 2/3 of it, you know. And in big games, his record is damn good. So you need to have control of that situation, and man, he dealt with everything that came his way. So I couldn't be more prouder of the Iceman, and you know me. I've been talking about him like this for a long time anyway. So for me, it's nothing. You know what I mean? Like this is
Yeah,
this is
you to be fair, you have been a massive fan of his for a while. Tom Wade's just echoed your sentiment, saying the Iceman was immense yesterday, man of the match without a doubt. Shane Bruno got it. Obviously, I'll ask you guys who you thought man of the match was, but I completely agree with Tom. I'm not sure how he didn't get the man of the match. But Rodri, a lot of speculation in terms of the centre back position. You know, you're hearing a lot of people, not just fans, journalists saying Maguire needs another centre back partner, so to speak. But did Lindelof state his claim yesterday, though?
Yeah, he had a good performance, but we're not forgetting the last couple of weeks, the couple of howlers that he's done.
Yeah.
That he's probably let his man score, let his man get in front of him, out muscled. You know, these are semi-finals that we need our centre halves to perform, not to finish fourth. So yeah, I agree with Koji. He had a good game, but yeah, we still need to strengthen it and someone bring someone in better and who can play like that every game.
Yeah, I will. Obviously, we leave that to you guys to decide what you think regarding Lindelof and if we still need another player, like Rodri said. For me personally, I do agree with what both of you said. I think he had to make up for that performance he had against Chelsea, and he did that in outstanding fashion. I just wanted to talk about the defense in general. We saw, obviously, we were playing at the back; they were pressing us high. Koji, did you ever feel like we was in threat though, in terms of Leicester going for? Did you feel like they were going to pounce? I know there was one occasion that they did, but in general, we seemed a bit steady compared to normal.
Yeah, in general, it was quite a comfortable defensive performance. I mean, I think we allowed them to get on top of us a couple of times, but there's a difference between getting on top of us and giving them clear chances and dealing with what they throw at you. I think we allowed them a bit too much control, maybe a bit too much respect. But anytime anything came into the box, apart from the moment where Wes Morgan sort of air kicked a volley,
Yeah,
I'm so happy it was Wes Morgan and not Jose Perez or Jimmy Vardy. Yeah, in that moment, that's the only moment I can think of where they had something sort of clear cut to work with. But apart from that, we dealt with everything quite comfortably. So it's credit to the whole defense.
Yeah, what are your thoughts regarding that, Rodri? Obviously, like I mentioned, I believe that's 13 clean sheets as well, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not all doom and gloom. And yesterday, again, the defense showed. I suppose they've been very shaky of late, but yesterday I thought they were fantastic.
No, no, it proves that they are a decent defence with the clean sheets. They've kept mistakes. The De Gea's made has not helped them. I'm sure they would have made more without the mistakes of De Gea. And you know, against the top teams, I still think we just need someone a bit stronger and a bit more of a presence and a bit more someone can bounce off Maguire, because I think Maguire would be better on the right if we get a hand-sided centre half, because sometimes on the left he becomes predictable. So when he brings the ball out, so it would help him if he played on the right-hand side, which is his natural side.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, Lindelof, but Lindelof, you know, you could trust him if he was at the third centre half and you brought someone in strong. You know that you could trust him and you can bring him in and he can do a job.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair point. Obviously, it's all about squad depth as well. And he said that Luke Shaw's contribution shouldn't go unnoticed. He's been immense and massively missed the last few games. And I think it's important that we don't get carried away with just the fact that we've got top form. We still have a bit of reality in terms of, you know, there's still a lot of work to be done. But regarding the performance itself, you know, at the end of the day, it didn't really matter. But I do want to look at it to an extent because it seems like a reoccurring theme in terms of the way we've started games, and we've said this already on numerous occasions, Kojo. In the first half, let's be honest, we were terrible, weren't we? Bar maybe a 5 to 10 minute spell come the end of the half. We weren't at the races again.
Yeah, we started off very sluggish, and it's quite frustrating. I think in the big games that we've won this year, we started off really well. So, but you want that replicated in every game. You want the team firing all cylinders. You will have off days, but you shouldn't have more off starts than good starts. You know, It was quite sluggish. And you can't do that again against. You know, Leicester were missing a lot of players at the back, and of course going forward, like James Maddison, for example. But it doesn't mean like Kelechi and Vardy and Jose Perez are not dangerous. They still got a good squad. So it was a very slow start. Luckily, they looked like they were quite nervous.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like we were able to get away with that. But that can't continue. It can't continue. You know, we talk about fatigue. You're not fatigued in the first 8 minutes of the game.
Yeah, it's a good point, isn't it?
You're really not. So we need a lot more energy in the start of the game. We're not asking for them to be gung ho and build your energy in 30 minutes. Just start the game better. Take control of the game. That's what you're supposed to do. You're the bigger team. You're the better team on paper. So show it on the pitch.
Yeah, coach just said there that we kind of got away with it, Rodri. I kind of felt like that as well watching the game. Not that I cared, of course, because the only thing that mattered was the result yesterday. But is there a bit of truth in that as well? We did get away with one yesterday.
No, not that we got away with one. We got a clean sheet. It's been, Kojo talks about that it wasn't fit. You don't get physically fatigued in the first 8 minutes, but I'm pretty sure they're mentally fatigued. We're playing every 3 games, travel, and all the rest of it. So, it's not as easy as you think. They're playing every 3 days at high intensity. You just can't do it. Everyone's got a breaking point, and obviously we've seen theirs at Southampton. So you can see the signs there, and you can people are brought down to earth. That we still need some players in. We've still got a long way to go, and we still need players in to freshen it up because we've seen the results. We can't keep on playing that same 11 week in, week out. It's just impossible, especially with the Champions League now. So we'll definitely have to strengthen at least 2 or 3 players, quality players in, because you've seen the signs there. If you don't freshen up, you don't strengthen in the right areas, you've seen the results.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It does seem like what you said there regarding the mental fatigue. I think that is definitely a factor that's we need to take into account. A lot of times we don't really look at that. We always, contributed to physical fatigue. So I think that's a very valid point that you said there.
No, we seem to forget as well. Sorry to interrupt. We seem to forget they were 15 points behind Leicester when we come back. They've done so well, and we're like picking. If we get to the 4th, we'll be happy. And now we're 4th, when we're nitpicking, and we should be happy. But we are Manchester United, and we want to strive to be better. But we have to remember where we was before the lockdowns started and where we are now.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I think the only reason, I'm playing devil's advocate really, but the only reason I asked that question is, like you said, we are Man United, and I know I'm trying to see from the other fans' perspective that will be questioning, where the aspirations are of the club. We do have a comment here from United Red 33 saying the Glazers will have to spend. I suppose that kind of comes into line with what you've just said, Rodri, in terms of increasing the depth. The way I see it now is Ollie's done his job. It's over to you now, the board and the Glazers. Rodri, where do you sit on that?
Well, the players going to leave as well. There's going to be at least 4 or 5 at least leave, so that leaves money on the wage bill. And like I say, they're going to have to at least bring 2, at least 3 top quality players, and then maybe another one. But yeah, they need to do that. In the next couple of weeks, they don't want to leave it to the last minute like we've done. Let's get the business done. Let's get them in. Let's get them, situated with the team and the teammates, and get started and hit the ground running.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you said. I do think that we need at least 2 to 3 quality players. And what I will say is Joe's transfer show will be coming in the next couple of days. So stay tuned for that. He will have a few updates regarding a few transfers. So hopefully we'll get a bit of positive news in the coming days. There's a bit of speculation regarding Jadon Sancho and a few other players. But obviously I'll leave that to Joe to go into more detail. Coach, we'll come to you. Obviously, we know that the Glazers need to put money down now. But I just want to talk about the midfield because, that has been winning us games. We've spoken a lot about Matic's liabilities. And it seemed like it was another game that Matic was potentially going to throw it away for us. Was there ever a moment in that game you're thinking, you know what, we might just have to take him off? Because, okay, granted, first half, for me personally, he wasn't great. Second half, he definitely turned it around. But did you feel that Ollie potentially could have taken him off at half time, or do you think that would have been too much of a risk?
I think it would have been a bit hasty. Just sole fact that we were still in the game. And he hadn't made any sort of catastrophic error for me to look at him and say, well, yeah, you got to go off. He gave the ball away here and there. 1 or 2 clumsy challenges, but nothing that I can really be mad about. But also, I feel like Ole doesn't really trust the depth behind him. I mean, McTominay is not a defensive midfielder per se. He can play there, but it's not his role. It's not his position. Same as Fred. I mean, Fred's feels like more of a box to box. He can win the ball, but I don't think he's got the intelligence that Matic has on the ball anyway. So I feel like maybe he didn't trust them enough to bring them on, but that's what you got to make signings for, to add to the quality that you already got. But no, I don't think he needs to come off at that point. I think it would have been too hasty. Just give him a bit more in the second half because he grew in the game anyway, so it made sense to keep him on, as you saw.
Yeah.
So for me, yeah, I think it would have been a little bit too hasty. But I wasn't completely annoyed with his performance. I think it was okay.
Yeah, he definitely grew into the game in the second half, so I agree in that sense. Roger, what were your thoughts on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's in-game management? You know, we mentioned it a few times in the last couple of games. How did you feel that he dealt with it? Because it was a very pressurized situation, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, it was pressure, but you know, I try to put my managing cap on and thinking, you know, does he want to change? Does he really want to change it and change it? You know, it's pretty solid now. They're not really creating any chances. Does he want to rock the boat? So I kind of seen, because Bruno was terrible. So I don't know how he didn't bring him off, but he kept him on. And, you know, they kept him on, and I can see why he kept on. He didn't want to rock the boat. They weren't really creating any chances. If he's seen anyone like fatigued or really struggling, he probably would have made changes. But yes, Bruno was terrible, and he kept him on. And once they got the goal, then they kind of relaxed.
Yeah, you mentioned Bruno. I was going to come on to him actually, because I personally thought he was one of the worst players on the pitch for us, anyways. I don't know. Do you think Kojo is almost like I won't say he's scared to take him off, because he's one of those players that he can produce magic at any moment. But do you think that was where Oli could have potentially made that change and taken that risk and shown that, you know, if you're playing poorly, you will get dragged off? Or do you think, I suppose in hindsight, it clearly was the right decision to keep him on, but do you think at the moment he probably should have dragged him off because he was just so poor, wasn't he?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you kind of said it in the question there. Like, he has the magic. He has that ability to create something out of nothing. That's the one thing that you worry about a player. Let's say, like, for example, PSG. If Neymar's having a terrible game, you're thinking, well, usually you got to take the guy off. He's not playing well. But then Neymar in a moment of magic can create something out of nothing or score something out of nothing, and you're like, well, this is why we brought him in for, you know. And to be fair to him, despite a couple of poor performances in an overall very, very bright first 6 months at Old Trafford, or first 7 months even, at the end of the day, when he's been called upon, he's delivered. So, you know, it's difficult to decide to take him off. But in terms of his performance, yeah, if you're looking at it black and white, he was poor. You have to come off. Yeah, I agree.
Ahara saying, I actually wonder who hands out man of the match awards on Sky. Bruno possibly had the worst game. I'll ask you guys shortly who you thought your man of the match was. But I hear what you're saying. I'm interested to see what you think, Rodri. Not only about Bruno, but in terms of the performances. Because, look, let's be honest, the only thing that matters at this current moment in time are the results. The performances are irrelevant. We just had to get off the line. But moving forward, does it concern you that we've been so poor for such a long period? We seem to have a moment that we're fantastic, and then all of a sudden it's almost like we crash. There's no in between, really, is there?
Yeah, I'm saying, you know, I think we need to, you know, not get too far ahead of ourselves. We didn't really. We only lost the semi-final and drew against West Ham, Southampton, and then we ended up winning against Leicester. So we only lost one game, and there's massive issues, and it's not really that bad. He's come in, he's done brilliant, he's got the spark the team going, and then we're probably expecting too much for him to carry on. And then I go back to the mental fatigue. He did look, you know, tired. The body reaction, they kind of highlighted it on Sky Sports where he wasn't reacting where he has been. So that's where probably the manager needs to save him a bit and do take him off. But like I say before, the manager probably didn't want to rock the boat. And then, you know, if we do get the penalty, then as fans we would have think, oh, Rashford's missed one, but Bruno's on, he's not missing. Yeah. So he scores, and then everything's rosy again. So I think we just need to be a bit careful because we've only lost one game. I know it's a semi-final, but I know we drew against teams that we should win at home. But we were still qualified after 15 points behind. We're still doing okay. I think we're just asking a little bit too much of Bruno when he has a couple of bad games when he's been the revelation of the season for us.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I don't think it was. My question wasn't particularly targeted at Bruno, and I'll pass it to you, Kojo, and see what you think. But it was more as a whole. I don't think he dictates the whole performance. I think against Palace we were lucky. I think against Southampton, obviously we got a draw. West Ham we went fantastic. I do agree. We've only lost one game, and the only thing, like I said earlier, was the results at this stage of the season. But I'm just thinking moving forward. But before we go, pass it to you, Kojo, we have got a comment from our resident Leicester fan. Commiserations, mate. I hope you're all right. Lee Chappie saying, well, as you can see, we bottled it, or the Foxes bottled it, so to speak. Clearly a bit frustrated, as you could imagine. We've got a few other comments here. We've got another one here from ManUSEB. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Oh, ManUSEB. Never mind. I've not seen anyone say right Manu like that. Jones, Smalling, Sanchez, Fred, Lingard, Fosu Mensah gone in the window. Obviously, I'll ask you guys regarding the Fosu Mensah one. It's a bit harsh. And the last one regarding Bruno from the United Way. Kind of emphasize what we said. The issue with taking Bruno off is fact we don't have quality to replace him. A moment of brilliance is always there, even if he's not playing his best. Again, kind of echoes what we've said in terms of quality. Coach, I'll just pass that on to you. Have the sort of performances worried you? Like we said, the only thing that mattered was the results. But moving forward, is that something that needs to improve? Because under Jose, we got results, but the fans were getting upset basically because the performance weren't at a standard of what you'd affiliate with the club.
First things first, fans will never be happy. unless we win the Champions League again or the Premier League again, they're not going to be happy with whatever they see. So, and I get it. We had the most successful. We are the most successful team in Premier League history. We had the most successful manager. We played wonderful football under him. So I get it. The standards were there, but we haven't been like that in 7 years. It's not the same. So that kind of expectation needs to calm down a bit. However, is it a worry for me? No, because in the past couple of games we haven't been absolutely wonderful, but in the previous games during this unbeaten run until Chelsea, we were great. Bar Southampton. So, in my opinion, I was not particularly worried. Obviously, in game, I'm a bit worried about what's happening in game, but in general, looking at in the whole picture, I wasn't really worried too much. I was worried about obviously making top four because I know Leicester are going for it as well. But in hindsight, the form hasn't been shocking. It's nothing to be scared or worried too tough about, in my opinion. So it's the expectation, man. Expectation of the team. We want to see what this fast flowing football. When under Mourinho, we shout attack because you just want to see attack after attack. But you gotta be happy with it because at the end of the day, I was not particularly wonderfully over the moon with Mourinho's football, but when he won the Europa League and League Cup, I was celebrating as if I won it with them. So, I get the expectation, but it's football, and the football's not bad right now. It's only getting better as well, and that's what Solskjaer is trying to bring through as well. A sort of free-flowing football that the United fans want to see. So let's calm down a little bit.
Yeah, I think that people do need to have a bit of perspective. I think there's this myth that if Sir Alex Ferguson played fantastic football week in, week out, it didn't happen. There was moments that we played poorly. We got the result. I'm not comparing Ollie to Sir Alex, of course I'm not. But what I'm saying is you can't always play good football week in, week out, and you need to understand sometimes the only thing that does matter is getting the result, and that's not being a hypocrite. Jose was doing it for like 10, 12 games in a row that he'd parked the bus. You've seen from moments in the games that Ollie does have a system in terms of interchanging of play, and he is trying to play attacking football. Some games it just doesn't happen. We have got a comment here that only Pratish saying Fred's had a superb season and was flourishing before lockdown. People need to respect their entire squad. I suppose that kind of goes back to always saying that the squad depth isn't there. But I just want to ask you, Rodri, regarding the football in general. Like I said, we're not going to play good football every week. Can you actually see your style of football now under Ollie? Can you actually see where he's trying to go and what he's trying to achieve with this team?
Yeah, it's obviously possession based. It's exciting. It's attacking. There's not. I couldn't really. Who's the most exciting front three than the three that we've got at the minute. I wouldn't take anyone else. So, and it's going on before about you saying Crystal Palace and the other games were lucky. I remember I missed one game in 1999. We were so lucky in so many games in that year.
Yeah.
In football, you're gonna have to get your luck. Sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're gonna get 20 penalties in a season. Sometimes you're gonna get 5. You've just got to take it when it comes. So, yeah, like I say, I go back to we've done brilliantly, and he's got to strengthen to progress. Because if we don't, we're going to be failing. We're going to be failing behind City and Liverpool again, because we need to progress, because they're on a different level to us at the minute. But I do think we've been playing good football, but we've just tailed off at the latter stages of the season because of lack of players and lack of quality in the squad. I do agree with Fred that has been brilliant this year, but he needs to play. He needs a type of player that needs to play every week, or at least get some game time, because when he comes in and out, he didn't seem to be the best. But
is he going to be playing every week, though, Rodri? Though,
that's the idea. Is it, if they're playing Champions League and League, he's going to have to fit him in somewhere, or switch it up. So. This is something the manager's going to decide, but I do agree with the guy who said that Fed's done well.
Yeah, no. To be fair, it's a valid point. I do feel a bit bad for Fred, because me included I had him up there for like player of the season, which of course we'll talk about in a different show, so I don't want to go into that in too much detail. But coming back to this game, I just wanted to talk about what you thought the turning point in this game was. Of course, it was 0-0 for long periods of time. Coach, I'll come to you. What moment do you think, this is ours now?
As soon as we got the penalty. That's a sin, honestly, because...
I agree, to be honest.
Yeah, as soon as we got that penalty and I saw that Bruno stepped up, I in my mind, I was like, the guy has not been able to sprint. He's knackered as hell. But when it comes to this, he's putting it away. I haven't got any sort of doubt here. I actually put my feet back and was like, yeah, here we go. We're good. As soon as that went in, I knew we had it under control, because if anyone has noticed anything about Leicester, especially in the last couple of weeks, is when they go down, they don't know how to recover. And when we're in control and we actually know how to put the game away, they can't beat us. And after that, we just dealt with everything they tried to throw us, but it was very little, because we had control of the game after that. And even before the goal, like I said earlier, I don't feel like they really gave us anything to worry about. So all in all, it just felt very, I felt very relaxed. And that was the moment. After that, it was just plain sailing for me personally.
What do you reckon? Obviously, Coach said that after that moment, it was plain sailing. I can assure you, I was still sweating after that moment, because I just didn't know what after that Southampton game. There's no way I'm thinking it's plain sailing when Vardy's on the pitch as well. How did you feel after? What did you feel the catalyst was? And after that penalty, how did you feel about the game?
Yeah, you're a bit more at ease when the first goal goes in, but yeah, I was like you, sweaty palms till Jesse Lingard's went in. As soon as Lingard went in,
as soon as Lingard went in, I celebrated.
It was happy days, yeah. But yeah, as soon as the second goal went in, the first one, 1-0, you never know, like you say, with Vardy. So yeah, once the second goal was in, it was getting.
Can't lie though. I can't lie. When I saw Kasper Schmeichel running forward, I was thinking, you're going to be like
your
father.
My God.
Is this what you want to do? You're going to be like your dad and banging the volley?
I was thinking that. I was thinking, watch him do what his dad's done. It would be so difficult. We've got another comment from the United Way, and this is kind of the direction I want to take the next conversation moving forward. He said that winning yesterday will be the catalyst for the future of this great club. Oli has to grow, and if he gets the players in the window, then happy days. I think fans just want to be entertained. Obviously, he's mentioned a few things. The first thing I want to talk about is this as a springboard, or the word he used, which was catalyst, for us moving forward. I'm not going to sit here and say we're back, because I think that's too premature. But how do you feel, Rodri, in terms of significance? Do you think this could actually finally be that turning point in the United returning, so to speak?
Well, it's a good start, and if you go off the stats from the start of lockdown and the time we've come back from lockdown, we're top of the league. So of that little mini league, I know it's not a proper league, and we need to start like that from September. It's exciting. Obviously, we need to bring in 2 or 3 players, like I said, but it gives us we're exciting going into the start of the season, knowing that if we perform and we do well and we do bring 2 or 3 players in, we can kind of compete. Are we going to win the league? well, I don't know. I think it might be a year too soon. But
Yeah.
you know, if we perform like we have been doing, and like I say, bring 2 or 3 players, we can compete, and you know, anything can happen then.
Yeah, what do you reckon, Kojo? Do you think this is a catalyst or a springboard, so to speak, to potentially propel us into, I'm not obviously not Talbot's, but at least challenging or getting closer to them?
It could be. It could be. My only worry when it comes to the transfer window is when we finished second under Mourinho, he was begging for more defenders because we knew that De Gea that year was just incredible. And he wanted more defenders, maybe 2, I think 2 centre backs, just to really bolster and make us that bit stronger to push on and make us go for a challenge. But we have to back Ole in the window. That's as simple as it gets. If he's identified these players, try your best to get them. You know, that's what's gonna convince me that this is actually the springboard to go forward now, because he's given you the first bit. He's got you back into the Champions League. He finished third, considering, as Rodri said, how far back we were in December in terms of points and even goal difference and all that. He got them on a good run of unbeaten, clean sheets, loads of goals scored, and now you have to give him more to bolster his team, make his team even stronger, so that if he does lose a player, he can bring another player in and we're not going to worry too much. So if we do back him in the window, then yeah, I would feel like we're very, very much on the way to trying to get back to where we want to be. But until that happens, I'm going to try and, stay
refrain.
Yeah, refrain.
Yeah,
because I'm not here for another frustrating transfer window.
Yeah.
I don't want to see.
No, I completely echo that sentiment. I think for me personally, I think it's too premature, like I said, to say anything regarding that. What I would say is I'm happy in the direction that Ollie's trying to take us. Granted, he's made mistakes, things aren't perfect, but there is some form of progress in terms of not only positional, but you can see what he's trying to achieve, and hopefully, like you said, the board will back him. So I'm just going to finish on this last question. Also, let us know if you are joining us on Twitter. Check us out on YouTube. Make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel. If you're on YouTube, obviously drop a like already. And if you haven't already, subscribe. I just want to finish this last question. I want you guys to let me know in the comment section as well. I've got a feeling most people are probably going to say the same thing, but no harm in asking. We'll come to you first, Rodri. What do you think was the catalyst in this season for us to change? Because, come January, obviously I'll give you time to think about it, but come January, we were struggling. We were 14, 15 points behind. We were struggling to play football. We seemed to be just tapering off. It looked like we were going to finish 8th, 7th. And a lot of people were calling for Ollie's head. And now a lot of people are saying Ollie's turned it around. He's proved us wrong. And I'm happy to see a lot of United fans.
There's still some haters out there, remember?
Yeah, no, as you know, from my Twitter. But I'm happy to see some United fans, bite the bullet, or, their ego, so to speak, and say, no, I hold my hands up. He has proved me wrong. But where do you think that moment was that you thought, no, what, Ollie is still the man? Obviously, I know you probably didn't doubt him, but just there must have been a point that you thought, no, what, I just don't think he's going to do it, and then eventually turned it around. But what do you think that catalyst was for that?
I think that's an easy one, isn't it? It's obviously Bruno Fernandes coming in. He's had a lot to deal with Paul Pogba as well. Keeping him is massive for Manchester United, because to replace him, even though he's not been a world beater, we know he can be, and if you bring in better players, we've seen it before. Now Bruno Fernandes has come in and brought us to a next level, just like Virgil van Dijk with Liverpool. You need to bring in better players for the team to progress, and that's where we're at the minute. We're not quite at Liverpool's level at the minute, but we're not far away. So to answer your question, I think Bruno Fernandes, him coming in and moulding the squad and giving Ollie that impetus to be more attacking, and obviously Mason Greenwood as well has been, I've seen some young players over my time at Old Trafford, and he's right up there. He's going to be a number 9 for Manchester United for a long, long, long time.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed he avoids injuries. Speaking of which, Rodri, I don't know if you can see the comment, but O'Hara's answered the call, mate. Ollie hasn't proved anyone wrong, is what he's saying. He's also said 66 points. One of our lowest points returns. He's not wrong factually, of course. And then he agrees that Bruno was a catalyst. So I don't know which one it is, but we'll have to let all
Everyone's got their opinion, but the proof's in the pudding. Whatever points you get, it's where you finish. We've won the treble with 70 odd points. It doesn't really matter. It's where you finish in the league, and he's finished fourth, and Jose's didn't. Van Gaal didn't. Ollie, experienced manager, he had to go, and he's done it. So, yeah, a bit of humble pie for them people, a bit of people that got in the woodwork again who have to shut up because he's not in the top four. But their haters will come back out if we lose a couple of games, no doubt about that.
Yeah, if we lose in Europa League, I'm expecting a completely different breakdown on Banter comment section for sure. Especially if we lose to like Copenhagen or Istanbul, it'll be an interesting show. Coach, just to finish, mate, Bruno Fernandes steps up under pressure, poor performance, puts the penalty away. How important has this guy been for this season?
Oh, very important. The game that I realised that was when we won 2-0 away at Chelsea. That was one of our most complete performances this season. Honestly, he just came and he just changed everything so quickly. And I think he's the midfield partner that Pogba's been screaming out for. That extra bit of quality, also creative, that can also take the burden off him a little bit and let them both have a bit of a link up. He's been important. And despite, a couple of 1 or 2, maybe 3 poor performances, he still made a difference one way or another. That's what you pay for. And that's what you paid for, that extra bit of quality, no matter the level of performance. That's what United used to do. Shocking games, but then out of nowhere, someone produces that one moment of quality, you win the game 1-0, you run away with 3 points. That's what you asked for. So he's been important, and he will continue to be important, and he will only continue to get better also. So, yeah, he's been important, and I'm glad that we finally got Bruno Fernandes at Old Trafford. 6 months too late, but it is what it is. He's here now.
Absolute bargain. 45 million down the drain. Bruno scores another penalty again. Say no more.
And that's remix.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say a massive thank you to both my guests. As always, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, check out their socials. I believe they're in the description. And yeah, just enjoy the flipping rest of your week because Manchester United are in the top 4. And as Rodri would say, stop being so picky. We're there. We've done it. Who cares? Anyways, it's been your boy, Span. Peace.